Hey, hello. I'm Chris, Elliott Wave Cafe. Welcome. It's been a while since we've last talked. I was gone a little bit of a summer vacation, so I'm back. And I do see the market continuing to sell off. And here we're taking a look here at the NASDAQ composite, and I'm going to go ahead and analyze it. Last time we talked, the market was beginning a little bit of a correction. We weren't sure exactly how deep that was going to get, but after a decent period of here of several weeks of kind of sideways movement, the markets broke lower. Today we had the Fed, and a little bit of another leg lower. So right off the bat, we're going to take a look at the wave count, and I want to show you a couple of interesting things and kind of what to watch in here in the sell-off. But right off the bat, I want to show you kind of where was the last time that the market actually broke out, and this was this week back in here. You're looking at the weekly charts, and I guess this was back in the week of April, around April 10. Um, I'm going to do something very basic in here, and you can see this line right here. It's the old resistance line before, when we had that, or the other kind of a correction back in March. That felt at the time pretty sharp as well, and then it was followed by those couple of months of really aggressive buying. So we broke out of there early April, and here we are, a few months later in here, coming back and retesting this high. So really there is no a whole lot of reason to kind of panic about this type of a move. I mean, you never really know, depending on kind of what stocks you own. This could feel a bit more worse than some others, right? Because mostly the very strong movers kind of got hit, the memory stocks, and some of the chip makers as well. But some other stuff is continuing to do fine. So we have a little bit of a story in here. That's not entirely accurate for everything, but nonetheless, the indices are selling off. So you can see, after we broke this high, we came back and retested it. We'll see if it's going to be the case this time, but this is exactly the level that I'm looking for the market to find support, and eventually to find a low in this proposed wave 2. So we're counting this again as a primary wave third in progress, again as an intermediate wave 1, followed by this minor wave 1 in here as well, with the wave 2 in progress. No real signs yet that this is over, but I'm going to show you what I'm looking for to kind of start to judge that. Now, very important, I do like to use moving averages, and you can see in here that we are approaching that 200 day moving average. That comes in at about 23,978 at the moment. And once again, if I put kind of those highs, you can see that we're very close of of these couple of highs in here to be near where the 20-day moving average, kind of like magic. But it looks very interesting. And not only that, but I want to show you kind of what's happening inside this wave too. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that, because if this it's going to be, if this is accurate, this is another wave 2. We're looking for a pretty strong move here coming probably as we're finishing up this year. Remains to be seen, but that would be kind of something that I would watch in there. Now the 61.8 level, it's a little bit deeper in here. It's at about 22,966 on the composite. You could get a quick flush down, right? You can overshoot a little bit this resistance. It's all important kind of how it happens, but I would watch this again as a level of interest, right, for a wave too low if we're going to get that deep, but we might not. So let's go jump at the daily time frames, and you will see kind of what I mean in here. Once again, you have those highs from October 25th, 2025, and then the January 28th top at about almost 24,000. So now, we've kind of corrected about 38.2% so far of this entire rally, which was pretty sharp and strong. And you can see in here, right, you have what it looks to be almost like a triangle type move, followed by a break lower. Now, you can always get a 1 2 1 2 3 4 and 5 4 and 5. So this can unfold into something much nastier, for the lack of a better word, than what we have right now. But since we're counting in the direction of the larger trend, which is still higher, I'm going to give this move kind of the benefit, and I will count it in the most basic way possible, in a simple ABC corrective move, and we'll see if that's panning out. And I'll tell you in a second kind of how that could help. So I'm just going to go up here and do a wave A decline, and then if we're counting this as a triangle, we're going to go as a wave B in there, and then we're going to drop it as a wave C, and then we can go inside this one, and you can do decompose in here as a triangle, and you can get an A, B, C, D, and E, and leave that as the part of this B wave. So now if we're I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger like that, and you'll see I always look for equality. This is not the first time I talk about this, so I will look what's the decline in the wave C compared with the decline in the wave A. So we'll do a very basic measurement here of wave C versus wave A with the fibs, and you'll see that 100% comes in at about 24,177. This is fairly close somewhat to these highs, and also close to that 200-day moving average. So you already have like and I think you wanted to look for things that are important, where you can have a decent edge in your favor. Now, again, these are just conditions, right? You have prior swing highs, previous resistance, now support. You have a moving average. You have some fibs. You have a wave count that seems to match. All of these are conditions that we're watching for to see if we can set up a trade. What is even more important is that the market responds to these conditions and it reacts from those levels. Until that happens, all we're doing is we're just watching price. And I tell you that since I've been gone in the beginning of July, and I just kind of watched the market kind of go sideways, and even in my vacation here, I wasn't doing anything, just watching the market, because it just didn't act that well, and it was just kind of sideways. So in the summer, it's much tougher. You usually want to trade, to late spring, from basically early fall, or like late September, October, all the way to maybe May. The rest of the months are usually a little bit nastier and corrective and choppy as the summer kicks in. So these are not great trading environments. They're more illiquid. Traders are gone. You can get higher moves, not as big support. So traders usually use these summer months for to kind of take advantage of illiquidity, and can swing around positions much easily. But again, that's besides the point. It's just that I'm watching this pattern going back to what I'm seeing. So if we do get to these levels, I'm going to watch to see how the market reacts from here, and kind of how it moves. I combine that with by watching the daily volume, also looking to see how much of a percentage gain you're actually getting each day. Let's say that the market touches this level, and then it starts to move higher. How much does it do that? And if it's the first day, we can just kind of look at it and say, well, fine, this looks good. It starts to be interesting. It starts to react to our levels, but can we really trust it? Well, let's give it a few more days. So then you can wait 3-4 more days and see kind of what happens in here. Again, just by watching the volume. I don't have the volume here, but just see if it's higher, if it's stronger, and then I might be enticed to put a little bit of money to work, right? Because this is the 200-day moving average right there, or a little bit lower, and then you have this top. We can enter a little bit in here. Then if the market moves higher, starts to get back maybe above the 50-day, which I can kind of go ahead and look at it. Well, that's a little bit higher, but the first would be maybe above a 21-day, right? That's still the market maybe still needs to stabilize before it would even get back above those levels. But if it does, then I would be more pressed to continue buying the market. And then as a much larger trigger, as a much heavier confirmation, it would be a break above this B wave, where I would have even additional confidence and even more of a trigger that probably this correction is completed, and then we're going to continue to move higher and make new highs. And then by that time, maybe the narrative is better, the news are better, we're hitting the fall, and things, let's say, hit the next cycle. And again, it doesn't have to be the same stocks that were leading so far. Maybe there'll be some other leaders, but I would definitely watch, inside in the stocks to see what's performing, what's not, and kind of. But again, we're just looking at at the indices here and just kind of doing the analysis. Now, if these levels don't hold and you continue to fall, you could have a large wave. See, and I also wanted to tell you, you kind of have to look inside the C wave and see if 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe that's a 5 already. Uh, but it's really hard to gauge this and just have so much arrogance in a way to say, okay, this was the final move and this was the end of a wave 5. It's much easier to kind of do that if you have some kind of a news event, for example, like if it's I don't know, like a CPI, or maybe like something that moves the market, like a labor event, or even a Fed decision where the market is extremely bearish, and it does move lower on that event. Maybe that event is negative, it moves lower, but then it finishes the day up higher, and it reverses all those losses and it creates some kind of a hammer. That would be the only way that I would maybe have more courage to say that a final C wave is done and we're ready to move in the opposite direction. So again, that's just based on experience and just kind of judging the price action, the news, the failure of those news, things of that nature. So many ways to kind of look at the price action and judge it. But from a pure Elliott Wave perspective, this is the one setup, and then obviously that 61.8 would be the next level that I would watch and see kind of how they would react if we would gonna get all the way down there. Ideally, it would be healthier, I think, if the market would stop at these highs, or short without getting that deep, but remains to be seen. So I have a plan. I know what I'm watching in here. There's really no rush. We're just beginning the month of August. I want to see how this month closes, and then how we're behaving as we're approaching these lows, and then kind of go by there. And again, just start to nibble slowly if the market holds, because you never really know, right? If it starts to turn and break, is it going to do a big break like this one? Is it going to be just briefly breaking the 200-day? Because this back here, it looked scary at the time with it breaking so aggressively, but then you had again, a really big move in here, right? And then that was followed by 1, 2, 3, another 4 days of sideways, and then another big move. And this was kind of the signal to buy as it was breaking back above the 20, back above the 50. And sure enough, then you went back above this B wave, and you continue to move higher. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. But I just thought I'll put a video out there. Now that we have something to talk about and it looks more interesting, I'm kind of stepping in and giving you my thoughts. So thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate, as always, for signing up and for following along with my videos in here and giving them likes and comments and all. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.